If you had one shot or one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted in one moment, would you capture it or just let it slip? Yo. His palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. There's vomit on his sweater already. Mom's spaghetti, he's nervous, but on the surface he looks calm and ready to drop bombs. But he keeps on forgetting what he wrote down. The whole crowd goes so loud, he opens his mouth, but the words won't come out. He's choking how? Everybody's choking now. The clock's run out, time's up, over, loud. Snap back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Oh, there goes rabbit. He choke. He's so mad, but he won't give up. Daddies, he know he won't have it. He knows his whole back to these ropes. It don't matter, he's dope. He knows that, but he's broke. He's so stacked that he knows when he goes back to this mobile home, that's when it's back to the lab again, yo. This old rhapsody better go back to this moment and hope it don't pass him.
Listen, we can talk about the flag, but let's talk about... Wait.
And good morning, everybody. Welcome to Trending in the AM right here on DSM Media. We're live, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. You know the drill. Like this show, retweet this show, share it out on every social media platform wherever you can. And if you're watching on YouTube, that's the best place to get involved with the conversation. So if you want to, head over to the YouTube page, DSM Media. Just type it in the search bar, DSM Media, Trending in the AM. Make sure you like the video and hit subscribe for us on that YouTube page. We greatly appreciate it. I am your host, Bill Stiefel, at Bearded Knowledge. Joining me again today is intern Cole Thompson, at Cole PT628. And we got a very interesting conversation to start the show. We got lots to talk about, mostly Phillies related, some Sixers related. But the theme of the show is my statement. It's not an overreaction statement because it's not Monday. It's not an overreaction Monday statement. Yes, I would trade Rhys Hoskins and Tyrese Maxey. Now, in parentheses, for the right person, for the right package, whatever it may be. And I got thinking about the Rhys Hoskins thing, Cole, here yesterday. You know, one of our competitors, I always bash the dial, you know, the WIP, those guys, they put out a poll, would you trade Rhys Hoskins? And if you look at the comments, people were bashing them left and right. But the actual results of the poll question, like 10,000 votes, it was like almost 50-50. Yes versus no. And it got me thinking, because yesterday we were talking about Kevin Durant and would you trade Tyrese Maxey? And Mark was like, no. Yeah. And like, when you want to get a transcendental player, you got to give something up. You can't give up a bag of balls to get a really legit player. And the Phillies, yes, I know they lost last night 3-2. Yes, center field's an issue. We're going to get into last night's game later. But the Phillies need pitching. And the prize of the trade market is Frankie Montas from Oakland. The Phillies have no farm system. To get somebody like that in here, you will have to trade something of value. And quite frankly, Rhys Hoskins, he's almost 30. He still has 1 year of arbitration eligibility. He hits the ball. He's an analytic team's, dream, which is Oakland basically. Rhys Hoskins is probably one of our top 3 or 4 trade assets that you are willing to part with because you're not willing to part with the Painters or the Abels of the low minor league. So, Cole, I ask you, are you willing to trade Rhys Hoskins as part of the package to land an elite player, whether it's Frankie Montas or somebody else out there? Would you be willing to trade Rhys Hoskins?
Honestly, yes, I would be, because the thing with let's take a scroll back to about, we'll say, right after Girardi got fired. All I saw was Rhys Hoskins isn't going to be back. First of all, there's no saying Rhys Hoskins is going to want to come back next year.
We have his control. He is under team control next year.
Oh, yes? Okay.
1 year left of arbitration. So, saying Oakland wouldn't want to pay him, they have no choice. I mean, well, they do have a choice. They could just, cut him and, and put him on waivers, but they still have control. He's only making $7 million this year, I believe it is. He's only going to make 8 or 10 next year. So it's not like he's going to cost the team, massive amounts of money.
But all in all, yes, I absolutely would trade him for, if it's in a package, for something like Frankie Montas or Jose Quintana. I can't pronounce his last name. Quintana.
I'm struggling with Montas. You're struggling with Quintana.
Yeah, I would absolutely make the trade. The thing with the Phillies is Bryce Harper and Gene Segura will be back at some point.
Mhm.
Schwarber is hitting the absolute cover off the ball. And Rhys Hoskins is insanely streaky. We've seen him. He's been hot over the last, I would say, about month and a half. He's been red hot. But there was also the Rhys Hoskins we've seen go through some of the coldest streaks we've seen.
Mhm.
We are going to have Schwarber. We're going to have Harper. We're going to have Segura. That is going to be fine. But we're not going to have pitching. Outside of Nola and Wheeler, you get about two. I would say you have 2.5 starters.
Yeah,
One of Eflin, Gibson, or Suarez gives you a good start every time around. One of the three will give you a good start every time around. So I guess you get about 3, which 3 out of 5 starts. That's okay. But you add Montas, now you're talking about a situation where you're going to get where you're at like 3.5 starts. You're going to be getting 4 solid starts out of every 5 rotations most of the time.
Mm-hmm. And he's under control. I don't know if people realize you're not trading for a half a year rental with Montas.
Yeah,
you're trading for he's under control for next year too. Now look, I want to address Carter's comment here. It says if you want to blow up the Phillies this year, you trade Hoskins. You're not blowing up the Phillies. The Phillies are scoring plenty of runs, and yes, Hoskins is leading the charge. And like Cole said,
I would say Schwarber's leading the charge. I would say Schwarber
is absolutely leading the charge. 2 more home runs last night, but Hoskins is 2 on the list. Yeah. But he's going to hit that cold spell at some point.
Exactly.
And he's not going to be carrying this team.
And then Harper's going to be back, and Segura's going to be back, and all of a sudden he's bumped down to 4. And I'm going to be 100% honest with you. Castellanos is going to heat up at some point. It's going to happen. He is not he's too good of a baseball player for it not to happen. He is going to heat up at some point. Then he's going to get bumped down to 5, and he's going to be so cold that somebody like Bryson Stott or Alec Boehm or JT Realmuto is going to jump him, and then he's sitting at the 6th, and then it's like, well, you have this guy who's ice cold is sitting at your 6th best bat at the time, and you got nothing for him.
Yeah, I 100% agree, and you can get by without Rhys. Now I don't know. You put Derek Hall at first base. I don't know what you do. You move out to first base. You put somebody else at third base. I don't know. Is Camargo ever coming back? I don't even know. Look, you can move around that first base position a little bit. Can Derek Hall, which I'm not jumping up and down because he hit a couple home runs like other people are, can you get by with Derek Hall at third base or first base? Maybe. I mean, he's just going to be as streaky, if not maybe a little bit more. But you can't get by with the 2 starting pitchers. But the point is, like, if the people that are going to say no, they don't want to trade. Carter's one of them. He does not want to trade Rhys Hoskins. Obviously, what do you expect to give up?
Let me add one more thing.
What else can you give up to bring in a legit starting pitcher? You have to. Pitching wins in playoffs, not streaky 240, 30 home run first baseman.
Yeah.
What were you going to say there?
I would say I'll add one more thing. It's not that I want them to trade. It's not like I'm sitting here saying, let's trade Rhys Hoskins. But if it comes down to it and I find out that was the final thing that put him over the edge in a trade for Frankie Montas or Jose Quintana, right?
Yeah.
That one right? All right. Yeah. I'm going to be completely fine with that. I'm going to be okay with that. And because at the end of the day, let's not sit here and act like Rhys Hoskins is good in the field either.
No, he's terrible.
Look at that Marlins game when he hit the 2 home runs in that game, so we really can't blame it on him. Any average defensive first baseman would have made that pick play there, and the Phillies probably would have got out of that inning and probably win that game. But once again, I don't like blaming things on one player for one thing. But it's not like Hoskins is good in the field either. He's below average on defense. You can put Derek Hall there. You can put Alec Boehm there. Even Johan Camargo there. Yeah. You can have it first base by committee and have, still below average defensive production. Or even if you put out
once a week, you can put JT Realmuto. Now, I know people are going to say, not JT. I'm not saying JT all the time. Saying it. No way. But if you really came down to it, before Harper and Segura came, then once Harper and Segura come back, then you've got a litany of options.
Yeah, you can put Alec Boehm, Derek Hall, Johan Camargo. You can move
Stott to third.
You can move Stott to third. Yeah, you can put Stott at second and Segura. There's a whole list of things you can do. And look. And Carter's now saying that they don't have enough to get Montas. Yes, I understand that. Look,
to get Frankie Montas, he's the pride and joy. Jose Quintana, I brought him up. Look, he's older. He's a rental. He's a guy that was really great early in his career in Chicago with the White Sox. Signed a big deal with the Cubs. Went from South Side to North Side, or vice versa. I don't even know which side is.
Yeah,
which
you're
side.
right. South side, north side.
Yeah, I don't know which side's which side.
Learn your Chicago geography, Phil.
I've never been to Chicago, dude. Honestly, I've seen more countries outside, like more other countries than I have seen major cities in our own country.
Really?
It's kind of crazy. So I've never been to Chicago. Quintana's just a name. Look, he's having a resurgence this year. He's got like a 3.3 ERA with the Pirates. But let's be honest, the last 3 or 4 years of his career have been pretty awful. So it might not take a lot. But Montas is the pride and joy, and we're going to be competing with 8 or 9 teams. There's no secret that Oakland wants to trade Frankie Montas.
Mm-hmm.
But in my opinion, and I brought this up right before the show, and you disagreed, but I'm gonna throw it out there. To get Frankie Montas to the Phillies, it's going to take a package of something like Rhys Hoskins and Logan O'Hoppe to start. And you disagree with the O'Hoppe part, but O'Hoppe is going to get, like, mark my words, by either this trade deadline or this offseason, Logan O'Hoppe is going to get traded. They are not going to keep him in the minors till he's 26, 27 because JT is going to be blocking that catcher role. They are going to cash that ticket in somewhere. Rhys and O'Hoppe, maybe you throw in Mickey Moniak and say, hey, look, he was a first-round pick, or number 1 overall pick. Maybe you guys could salvage him in the lower pressure situation of Oakland. Those 3 guys, and it's going to take more on top of that. That, in my opinion, is where it's going to start. So I do
agree with. That I do agree with what Kata said. That I do agree with. JT, I would trade JT before I trade Rhys. I would, depending on the situation, because of the fact that you have Rafael Marchand, and you have Logan O'Hoppe there.
I don't buy the Marchand stuff. I don't buy that he's as majorly capable as people think he is.
Is he better than any first baseman prospect we have that hasn't seen the MLB yet?
Is he better than a first base prospect?
Yeah, than any of our first baseman prospects.
Is a catching prospect as good as a first base prospect? I don't know. I see him as I see Marchand as a rotational catcher or a backup catcher. I don't see him as an everyday.
We have Logan O'Hoppe. That's the point. If we're gonna
O'Hoppe is still a year away, maybe.
Yeah.
Be ready to by mid next year.
Okay, I would, but my thing is, you can probably scrape out a little more for JT Realmuto than you can for Rhys Hoskins.
Even with that contract, see, that's the thing. You got to look at the contract. What team wants to take on a $25 million a year or $24 million a year catching contract when you could get a Rhys Hoskins who's under arbitration control for 1 more year, which is like I said, he's making like $7.5 million this year, based off of what he's doing this year at this point. Maxey's going to get his $10 million. So
because JT Realmuto is still one of the best defensive catchers, if not the best defensive catcher in all of baseball.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. So you're going to give your best defensive catcher, your guy that manages that pitching staff pretty damn well. Look, I just don't see the $25 million deal as tradable. And again, a team that takes that on, somebody that wants JT Realmuto is a playoff contender. A team like Oakland or Pittsburgh Pirates, they don't want JT Realmuto.
That is fair. Rebuilding teams do not want JT. That is a fair point. The rebuilding teams are not going to want JT, so it may be harder to trade him.
I brought up, just to backtrack, about 3-4 weeks ago, right at the beginning of the Rob Thompson, even maybe it was before Rob Thompson took over, but maybe it was still when Joe Girardi was here. I brought up the trade JT Realmuto conversation. And I got bashed for it because, why would you do it? And I get it. If we were out of contention, we are not out of contention. We're obviously a playoff contending team. If you're out of contention, then you trade JT Realmuto to a playoff contender. You get some prospects to rebuild your farm system with. That I'm fine with. But when you're talking about getting a starting pitcher that's going to help you get to the playoffs, you got to trade young, controllable players to those teams. JT Realmuto is not that. Do the Phillies have a realistic chance of winning the division, Matt? No. The division, no. I mean, they're still 7 or 8 games back of the Mets. The Mets would have to completely implode. Jacob deGrom just is about to come back. He's in rehab. Scherzer just came back. The Mets and the Braves basically have the division. But we do have a strong chance of winning a wild card spot. So We are not packing in the season at this point. We're trying to find ways to make the team better here. And getting a legit starting pitcher is the best option right now. So how do we do it? All right, so we're kind of on the same page with Rhys. We're kind of differing on the page on JT. Carter's disagreeing with Rhys. What other options do we have then to trade? If you don't want to move Rhys, if you can't move, look, it's not the NBA. 3-team trades, 4-team trades don't really happen. Like if this was the NBA, you could trade JT to a contending team, take the prospects from the contending team, transfer them to Oakland, and then get Frankie. Like that doesn't happen in Major League Baseball like it would in the NBA. So then, what other options, if you're not going to move Rhys, do we have? Does Alec Bohm have the same value as Rhys Hoskins? I don't think so.
I mean, I like Alec. See, my thing with Rhys is I don't see Rhys getting as much better as he is right now. Alec Bohm.
I agree with you. I think he's hit his
Alec Bohm.
peak.
Yeah, I wouldn't say hit his peak. I would say the distance between his peak and now is a lot smaller than it is for Alec Bohm. Alec Bohm rips the cover off the ball. He hits for average. He gets on base. And he also has been getting better in the field. I've seen Alec Bohm make some plays that if you would have told me in the beginning of the season that would have made plays, I would have told you you're insane. This is not the same Alec Bohm that made the 3 errors against the Mets and said he hates this place.
I agree.
So Alec Bohm, to me, Alec Bohm's also younger. I just think Alec Bohm is more valuable, but I'm less willing to give him up.
So you're an Alec Bohm fan. So then let me ask you an Alec Bohm question. And it kind of relates to my theory on Nick Castellanos and his struggles at the plate being that he's playing right field every single day. And I think that affects him at the plate. And we could talk about that when we get into last night's game. And I see Carter bringing up Odubel. We're going to get to Odubel here in a second. But see, so Alec Bohm, I agree with you, has grown leaps and bounds defensively. Has the work he's put in to get better defensively affected him offensively? Do you think? Because I haven't seen that growth offense. Like, yeah, he still hits the ball really hard, but he still makes a lot of. He just makes a lot of
little bit. I'm going to tell you this.
I haven't seen. I expect Alec Bohm. Like when I first saw him in the minors, when he first came up, I'm like, this guy is not going to be a 30 home run guy, but he's going to be a 300 hitter. He's going to be a 18 to 20 home run, 35 to 40 doubles, driving 80 to 100 runs type guy. A guy that you could put in the 3, 4, or 5 hole in your lineup. I just don't see it. I haven't seen any growth with the approach at the plate at all.
I I feel like he's definitely. Let's look. I just want to see. I'm just trying to look at his numbers, but also to kind of look at what you're saying. What I realized is this Phillies team with the DH spot, and that's another thing. He's going to hit way better when the shift ends. But
a lot of people are 320 might be an average, not a top end average.
This Phillies team, when we originally made all those signings, it looked like the plan was going to be you were going to have a 5, not like a daily rotation, but there was going to be 5 guys that were going to fill in and out that DH spot: Harper, Castellanos, Schwarber, JT, and Bohm. Just based off of the fact of value, and maybe even Hoskins would get thrown in there. Maybe it was 6. Maybe you could do 6 guys, which would have taken some of that pressure off of Bohm, off Castellanos, off of Schwarber, giving some little bit of rest. You're just hitting, you're not playing the field, you're not out there the entire time. But with the Harper injury and then the second Harper injury, they had no choice. You either lost your MVP, who has arguably been the best hitter in baseball over the last 2 years, in Bryce Harper, take him out of the lineup, or you have to throw guys out there that aren't great at the field. So that I take with a little bit of a grain of salt. That's not going to be a thing that's going to be affecting us for years to come. Harper's going to come back, and he might. I think he might still have to play DH the entire time. Am I wrong?
Probably. I mean, the rest of he might have to. I mean, if the UCL tear doesn't improve in the offseason, because they're trying to manage it. But look, I mean, they tried to do that with Sir Anthony Dominguez.
He's going to get a surgery. He's going to get a surgery. He's going to get surgery once the season's over.
But once he has that surgery, if he has it in the offseason, he's going to miss time next year because it's a pretty long recovery. I mean, even if he comes back next year as a DH to start during his recovery from the surgery, he's not going to be ready to swing a baseball bat April 1st if he has the surgery in the offseason.
How long?
My medical degree. That's what it says.
How long is the UCL recovery? Just so we have an accurate representation on It's about 12. It's about 8 to 12 months. So, yeah, you might lose in. Okay, then that makes it a
There were
little bit
some people
tougher.
saying when he broke his hand, just shut him down for the year. That there were people legitimately saying that you shut him down for the year, you get the surgery done right now, then you might have him back by April at full health. I, Look, I'm not ready to pack it in on the season yet, and that's what you're doing if you do that.
Yeah,
But there is a theory to be had there. There really is a theory to be discussed there.
Bryce Harper's UCL injury is literally the worst thing that could have happened.
Absolutely.
The broken wrist, he's going to be out for a few weeks, but the UCL injury of all injuries might be the worst thing that could have happened to this team.
Like I said,
'Cause
that's
the way
why
they-
Seranthony Dominguez missed so much time because they just tried to inject him and I think Cliff Lee had the same thing happen in his career. He had a UC. They tried to just rehab it a little bit, and then he tried to pitch again, and then he was out for a significant. He was actually never the same pitcher again. Honestly, I think he pretty much retired, after he tried. But look, Castellanos, Bohm, they're doing things, they're working on things, and their offense is suffering from it. But if you make some tweaks here, look, hell, you trade Rhys Hoskins. We could get back to that, bring it all full circle. You trade Rhys Hoskins, Derek Hall could be your DH till Harper comes back, or be your first baseman till Harper comes back. Castellanos could slide to that DH spot, take some pressure off of him. Look, we could get into last night's game.
Then who's playing right field?
How much Odubel Herrera sucks. Put Veerling in right field.
Okay. Well, okay.
Put Moniak in right field.
All right, listen. I wanted to wait on the Odubel Herrera thing, but Odubel Herrera does suck. But who else are you going to put out? Like Broads, I watched Broads' show on it yesterday, and he made a great point. Who else are you going to put out there? Who else are you going to put out there? Matt Veerling? But then if you trade Rhys Hoskins, then what? Like if you want to put Castellanos to the DH or Schwarber, you're gonna have to do you can't put him in right field then because everybody they brought in has been terrible.
Yep.
Now, my opinion is I would be playing Mickey Moniak over Odubel because I feel like Mickey Moniak he's in the 9-hole. The Phillies, the difference of versus the Phillies get from Mickey Moniak to Odubel Herrera is completely different. I feel like Odubel Herrera is more of an anchor.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. The defensive thing, especially for a team that's lacking defense.
Yep.
So that makes sense.
And when you have a left fielder and a right fielder with 2 bricks for feet. I mean, there was a play last night. I don't know how much of the game you caught last night that Schwarber, there was like a blue pit hit out to left field. And Schwarber came up and caught it on a short hop, kind of bobbled it. It didn't really affect the bobble or anything like that. But, most left fielders get to that ball.
I mean, he's a thick boy.
Yeah, exactly. Castellanos, the same. You watch Castellanos laboring around in right field. So if you put a person like Mickey Moniak in center field every night, he can make up some. He can cover more ground. He can. You can change your defensive alignments with Schwarber and Castellanos a little bit more, so that Mickey Moniak can kind of pick up the pace a little bit there. Look, Odubel Herrera last night. I know Aaron Nola. It says that he gave up 3 earned runs last night, but in my mind, that should have been considered an error on Odubel Herrera last night in center field. He basically blew the game last night.
A mental error.
And that's not the first time. It's not the last time. It's not the second time. It's not the 4th time.
It's about the 847th time.
I mean, you brought it up on Twitter last night. I mean, Cole Hamels almost lost his no-hitter because of Odubel Herrera's bad play in center field. This has been something going on. When did he get called up? Like 2016?
Yeah.
Something like that. I mean, I talk about Zach Eflin. He is who he is. He's been on this team for 7 years now. Odubel Herrera is who he is. And you could take his personal issues off the table. We don't even have to talk about that.
Well, I think we should.
I mean, we always should. I mean, he's an awful human being as well. But you take that out of the equation, he's a dumb baseball player. And how he is living off of his one All-Star appearance, which basically was 3 months of good baseball.
Maybe I'm more lenient with Mickey Moniak making mistakes because he's not a horrible human being.
Yeah.
So I maybe feel a little bit bad for. I have no sympathy for Odubel Herrera. He is terrible. He is not good. He was never really that good. Like you said, he played good baseball for 3 months, and the Phillies have been just trying to get that to be reliving since then. He is not good. He is a bad baseball player. Mickey
There's
Moniak.
literally no argument. There's literally
Yeah.
no argument anybody can make that would say that he is a good baseball player.
But also, the thing is, Mickey Moniak also, he has not been a good baseball player. He's not good. At least as a Philly, he has not been good.
No.
Maybe defensively, he brings a little bit. You can make the argument defensively, but if you're playing Mickey Moniak, expect him to go over 3 or 1 for 4.
All right, but let's talk about Mickey Moniak for a second, because this is actually an interesting theory here. So yesterday on the show, I think it was Mark brought up his stats, his career stats. He's only got, I think it was 99 or 100 plate appearances in his entire career. He's never been given a lengthy amount of time to settle in and figure it out.
Well, he was going to start
we're giving Odubel Herrera since the start of June is hitting 208, but we're still trotting him out there every single day.
Yeah.
Give Mickey Moniak the amount of plate appearances that Odubel Herrera gets. Maybe Mickey Moniak. Look at Bryson Stott. I mean, he's hitting like 190 on the year, but I think if you take out like if you go just in the last 6 weeks, he's hitting close to 300 because you're giving him every single day. Every day he's in that lineup. He can settle into a rhythm. I'm not saying Mickey Moniak's going to be a 300 hitter, but I'm saying at least give him the chance. He's been getting called up now off and on since the bubble season or the shortened COVID season.
Mm-hmm.
And he's still, so since 2020 to now, he's got 100 plate appearances. And that's it. Because no one gives him the chance to settle in.
You're not wrong. No, he doesn't get a chance to settle in. But it's just every time he's up there, he is just a dud at the plate. He is just the Phillies development team is garbage.
They're getting better. They've eliminated a lot of the bad eggs in the development system. But they've still got, because it was so bad for so long, it's going to take years to fix that problem.
But yes, no, it's terrible.
Anyway, yeah, exactly. Look, it was terrible. There's no doubt about it. There's a reason why Cornelius Randolph, Mickey Moniak, and who's the other? We had like 3 straight first, top 3 picks, and none of them have really developed into anything. But again, Mickey Moniak's 23 years old? It's not like he's 28, 29 years old and just figuring it out. He's still a pretty young kid. Give him 3 weeks. You're going to start center field every single game for 3 weeks straight, 4 weeks straight. That's, 24. That's 100. He can get in 4 weeks. He can double his plate appearances for his career.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can have a better understanding of what he is. Adam Hazley. Thank you, Carter. That is the other name I was thinking of, Adam Hazley.
Maybe that's what you do. Maybe you're right. Maybe you just throw him out there for the next 3-4 weeks. That would probably bring you right around. Is that the time when Harper would be back? Or is Harper out a little bit?
The beginning part of when Harper would be back.
Okay. So, that's right. Harper might be have to rehab assignment. So you do it. You put him out there for 3-4 weeks. Fine. Every day, and you know it. You just deal with it.
Be in the 9 hole every day. No pressure. Play great defense, and let's see if we can get you hitting the ball like you were in spring training.
Maybe he does start hitting the ball like crazy then, and maybe it finally makes.
I go back to I got bashed. It was right at the beginning of my social media time, like trying to gain a following. Mm-hmm. It was at the 2019, his last full season in the minors, and he started to turn a corner hitting. He was hitting like 260. He was a doubles machine. He was lacing the ball all over the place in double. I think he was in Double-A Reading at the time. And they were, at the end of that season, they brought him up to Triple-A. I was like, this kid, and people were bashing him, calling him a bust. I'm like, at the time, he was like 20 years old. I'm like, how can you call a 20-year-old a bust? Well, a 23-year-old that has 100 plate appearances in 3 seasons has not been given the chance. So you got to give him a chance. You're losing games because of Odubel. You're not winning games. So what's the difference? Whether you're going to lose because Moniak strikes out in the 8th inning, or you're going to lose because Odubel Herrera misplays a play in the outfield or swings at a ball bouncing between his legs.
Odubel's a bum. I can't stand
there is no, and we'll throw this out there, and I think Mark has brought this up. Mark or Jason's brought this up on the show before. Odubel isn't liked. He's a bad egg. You got to tell me, you get rid of Odubel Herrera. Just say you DFA him today. Cut him. Just put him on waivers. Get rid of him. In my opinion, in Mark's opinion, that would actually boost the locker room.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that
you hanging out with people.
And I think that if Mickey Moniak would go out there and he would start to hit the ball, that would also boost the locker room. I think if you put Mickey Moniak out there and he starts to get hot, I do agree. Absolutely. They should just be like, you know what, Mickey? What do the Phillies have to lose? What do the Phillies have to lose by doing that?
Yeah.
They have nothing to lose. They literally have nothing to lose.
Look, this season wasn't about winning a World Series this year. This was like kind of a transition year. We thought we could make the playoffs. We started off terrible. We were so far behind at 21 and 29. This season was over. We're right back in the thick of things. So everything else going forward is a bonus. So you use the rest of this year. Look, yes, I'm talking about trading Rhys Hoskins to get Frankie Montas, but realistically speaking, moves should be being made right now to build for next year. Montas would be building for next year because you would have him under control, but we need to know what Mickey Moniak is. If Mickey Moniak could be a viable center fielder, then that's one less position you have to address in the offseason.
So we're talking about next year. Let me ask you. I know we've talked about it. We've been meaning to talk about it. What do you think of the rumor about Trea Turner coming to the Phillies?
Can you? My first initial reaction is because he's going to be a free agent at the end of the season. So can you afford to pay another person $25 to $30 million a year on this roster? You've already got Harper, Castellanos, Schwarber, and JT, and Zach Wheeler. You already got 5 guys $20 million or over.
Yeah, I think Aaron Nola is also making $25 million.
He might be.
Yeah.
Can you pay another person $25 million? Because I knew you wanted to bring up Trea Turner. Because I got a weird little theory on it that they should be. I know the Dodgers wouldn't want to trade him in the middle of a playoff run and stuff like that. But I'm trying to get him now so that we have like the leg up on the competition in free agency. Maybe you can convince him to stay because he's here, whatnot. But I was looking at it. He's making $22 million this year. You're going to have to think that he's 29 or 30 years old. He's going to get about a 5 to 6 year deal, approximately $30 million a year. So you're looking at 5 150, 6 180. Can the Phillies?
Didi's off the books after this year. Gene Segura. So what do you think happens? Do you think that they bring in Trea Turner, they don't bring back Gene Segura?
Yeah. So if you bring in Trea Turner, your infield, just assuming they don't trade Rhys Hoskins, if they brought in Trea Turner, Stott would be your second baseman, Trea Turner would be your shortstop, Bone would be your third, and Rhys Hoskins. That your infield would be Hoskins, Stott, Turner, Bone.
The Phillies are going to be in a win now position, so I don't know how you can dislike that.
Yeah, I mean, so Carter's saying let's Stott develop, Trea Turner go get a center fielder, but yet you also say give Moniak a chance. Instead, maybe if you give Moniak, see, here's why you play Mickey Moniak 4 straight weeks. You give him a chance. Moniak might be good enough, and he's so young, he's under team control. You can have Moniak and Stott both playing in the lineup and go get Trea Turner. And then you could spend more money on pitching. I don't know. There's a theory there. I mean, Trea Turner, I was looking up his stats. I actually was wrong on who, I know who Trea Turner is. I don't watch a lot of Dodgers baseball outside the playoffs. I always thought he was a super power hitter. But outside of last year, he never hit 20 home runs.
He's more of he gets on base a lot.
He's an on-base machine. I mean, he's led the league twice in hits. He's led the league in plate appearances and at-bats. He leads the league in steals multiple times. Led the league in triples once. He's had 30-plus doubles multiple times. The guy's a line drive, base hit, doubles. He does a little bit of everything.
And he also he's very good in the field.
Oh my God, he's great in the field.
His glove is amazing. So
and he has played a little bit of center field early in his career. He's played a little bit of second base in his career, but he's a shortstop.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, there are, Matt's bringing up, there are other options. You got Dansby. I'm not sure about Dansby, but,
Tim Anderson.
Yeah. Correa as well might be available if he opts out. There's good. Hey, Juan Soto still hasn't even signed his deal. Trea Turner won't be the only big ticket free agent in the offseason.
So Juan Soto in center field?
Yeah.
I mean, we might as well forget. We might as well we would have to hit 800 home runs that season.
I mean, I don't know. Trea Turner, I think, is an intriguing thing. I mean, what are your it's less likely that Trea Turner would get traded by the Dodgers this year.
No, he's not.
And the Phillies being able to trade Rhys Hoskins for Frankie Montas. That's how there's less than a 1% chance it happens. Would you at least make that phone call?
Yeah.
Hey, he's a free agent. You're not going to be able to keep him because you're already paying $600 million in payroll. Yeah. What would you want for him?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why you don't.
You think you could get by with Marshawn and JT or Marshawn and Stubbs and O'Hoppe? Do the Dodgers need a catcher?
No,
I don't even
they
know.
have the best
I don't know
catcher in
what their
baseball.
roster
They have
looks
the
like.
best catcher in baseball.
Okay. I don't know what their roster looks like. I haven't watched
They do not need a catcher.
Yeah. I haven't watched one Dodgers game outside of Phillies Dodgers, so I don't know.
And I also think that they probably can't afford to bring Trea Turner back. They just probably won't. I just
Yeah.
don't think they will.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's interesting, the Trea Turner thing, but it just goes into the thought process that if we're learning this year, the playoffs are the goal, but the goal is this is like the 2006 2007 Phillies.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We're trying to set up for the big picture. I remember I went to the first playoff game in 07 against the Rockies. It was a Hamels start. I remember like it just felt like a bonus being at the playoffs by this point because it'd been so long. And we were just learning what we had in Cole Hamels. We were learning what we had in Chase and Ryan and Jimmy. We were learning whether they were the big time players or not. That's what we need to be doing right now.
I'll tell you this also.
Odubel's not the future of this team.
If Kyle Schwarber wins league MVP this year, the amount of 2006, 2007 vibes I'll be feeling right after back-to-back league MVPs. Listen,
How many home runs will Kyle Schwarber end the season with?
I think he'll end up with 55.
55. I was going to set the over/under at 51 and a half. You're going to take
the over. Hammer the over.
He's going to have a just like Rhys Hoskins. Kyle Schwarber is going to hit us. I know he is.
He had a slump in the first half of the season.
Yeah, first like month and a half. But he's not going to keep hitting 2 home runs a game. And
no,
he's hit like 8 in the last 14 games or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not going to keep hitting them at that pace.
I will say this, that I think he'll end up at I would say that he's up. When's the All-Star break? 2 weeks away?
18th or the 19th of July. So it's coming up.
We're about at the halfway point of the season, correct?
We are. We just, last night was game 82.
Okay. I think he'll end up with 35 home runs by the All-Star break.
That's 8 more in the next 10 days.
Okay, maybe not. I was thinking
that's a lot. That's a lot of home runs.
You said the 19th?
18th or not? I think the 18th is the last game for the Phillies. For the All-Star break.
31. He'll go with 31 home runs by the All-Star break.
Or in the next 10 games. Yeah, that's
31. That's a better number. I think he'll crack over 30, and I think he's gonna hit over. I think he'll hit about 50, 55.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to see Kyle Schwarber in the home run derby?
Absolutely. Why not?
Absolutely.
Why not?
You know what? Because people hate the home run derby when one of their like somebody that's not a home run hitter goes in the home run derby. They got to change their swing. Look, I'll backtrack to the Bobby Abreu home run derby. I mean, it was an entertaining. I mean, he just was crushing the ball left and right. But then he came back and stunk as a hitter for a while.
Can you explain to me why everyone hates Bobby Abreu? Because I was not around at that time.
I'm a huge Bobby Abreu guy. I won 2 fantasy baseball leagues 2 years in a row because I drafted Bobby Abreu in the first round.
Because I know he's not very well liked.
Because all right, so we can compare him to younger Cole. What was your thoughts when Aaron Rowan ran into the wall, broke his nose, blood dripping down his face?
God, I don't even know how old I was for that.
I mean, it was 2000. That was 2006 or 7.
I was probably about 4 or 5.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
but that's Philadelphia.
Yeah,
going through a wall for your team.
Yeah.
Bobby Abreu was not. Bobby Abreu, as Mark says, Bobby Abreu was a me first stats guy. Look, I mean, it's been a long time since I've talked to Bobby Abreu, so it would take some digging. But there was a point in Bobby Abreu's career with the Phillies that he had a 2 or 3 season run where only 2 people had the same stat line, him and Barry Bonds. It was something, I forget what the number was. I think it was something along the lines of 20 doubles, 20 home runs, 10 triples, 20 steals, a 300 average, and 100 RBIs. Something like that. Only 2 people did that, and it was 2 years in a row. And Bobby Abreu was one of them. It was Bobby Abreu and Bobby Abreu would come up short on fly balls, so he didn't have to dive. He wouldn't run. He would, I'm not going to try to run into the wall. I'll take it off the thing. He didn't have that Philly attitude, that Philly mentality that we all love. You know, we want those Philly dogs. That was not Bobby Abreu. He wasn't very fan friendly. He wasn't friendly with the media. He fit perfectly with New York when he got traded to New York, but he's not a Philly guy. But I love Bobby Abreu because I won a lot of money in fantasy baseball with Bobby Abreu for 2 straight years. So, you know, Bobby Abreu, there's a reason why he has not come off the Hall of Fame voting ballot. Because if you get less than 5% of the votes, you come off the Hall of Fame ballot. There's a reason why he hasn't. Because his stats are a lot closer to Hall of Fame worthy than people realize. He's not a Hall of Famer, but he's close. How did we get talking about Bobby Abreu?
I saw somebody bring it up, or somebody you said something, and I just remembered everyone hates the guy.
Everybody hated the guy. I did not. I always loved him because it goes to that theory. What do you rather? Do you rather win, or do you rather a bunch of guys that you love?
I'd rather win.
Exactly.
Winning brings love.
Yeah, absolutely.
In my opinion.
And the thing was also Bobby Abreu was on a bunch of losing Phillies teams.
Okay, that doesn't
and when he got traded in 2006 with Corey Lytle to the Yankees, that kind of was like the start of the turning of the page. We went on a run. We almost made the playoffs in 06. You know, it was the turn to the new era. So he's actually even more important to Phillies history than people realize, because that was the turn of the page from the old Phillies, the losing Phillies, to the winning Phillies of the 07 through 11 Phillies. Look, back to the Phillies of current. Kyle Schwarber. Oh, the home run derby. That's why we brought him up.
Oh, that's right.
He changed the swing. I would love to see Kyle Schwarber in the home run. He would not have to change his swing.
No.
Whatsoever.
I believe Kyle Schwarber's been in the home run derby before.
Has he? I don't know. I would have to look that up, but Kyle Schwarber, man, he's mashing. And look, I watched the home run derby. I think the home run derby, out of the slam dunk contest, out of anything at the Pro Bowl, anything in any of the major sports, the home run derby is the one all-star festivity event that hasn't lost its luster, in my opinion. It is still the most must-see skills competition in all of sports, in my opinion. I don't know if you agree with that. And having a Philly front and center in it would be fantastic.
I believe he was in, actually, I think this is a funny story. Yeah, he was in the home run derby again. He beat Rhys Hoskins by 1, and he lost to Bryce Harper in the finals by 1.
Wow.
In
That's
2018.
hilariously awesome.
Yeah, because Hoskins had 20, Schwarber had 21, Harper had 19, Schwarber had 18.
That's hilarious.
So that is actually hilarious, and I think that would be great to see Kyle Schwarber back in the home run derby.
So we're talking playoffs, and Matt, I appreciate you chiming in all show long here. You're asking, if the Phillies make the playoffs, who would you rather face in the wild card round? I'd like our chances against anyone but the Dodgers and Braves. Look, Matt, I don't think it matters who we face in the playoffs. If we were to make the playoffs, which we can, and we're trending in that direction right now. This is like the 06, 07 Phillies. It's more of a learning experience for the Phillies to make the playoffs. What it's like to play playoff baseball. It doesn't matter, because even if we face the Cardinals or I don't know who else is in the wild card spots right now.
Padres.
The Giants fell out. The Padres. The chances of us winning a 5-game series, a 7-game series against any team in the playoffs isn't really strong right now, because we have
it's the first round with the new playoff format.
This whole show we've been talking about the holes on this team. There's too many holes still. That's how good some of the players are, because we're able to survive and maintain with all these holes. Sorry, Cole, go ahead.
With the new playoff format, we would have probably played the Brewers or the Cardinals, whoever wins that division, round 1 in a 3-game series. If we got swept in that 3-game series, I would take this season as nothing but a complete success. Like you said, this is about making the playoffs.
Yeah.
This is about getting that playoff experience, getting there, showing that we can get there after 11 years.
Absolutely.
Finally breaking through that wall and making the postseason.
Yeah, I agree with you 110%.
But to answer your question, I would rather face I would probably rather face the Brewers or Cardinals than the Padres, Giants, or Braves in round 1.
The Pirates? The Pirates?
Padres.
Padres. I thought I heard you say Pirates. I'm like, dude, that would be one hell of a comeback if the Pirates made the playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't think it matters, honestly. I think we just want to get there. Look, 11-year drought for a team like the Phillies that had so much success in the 07 to 11 range, that's a massive drought. You know what I mean? We need to just get over that hump. See what we got. Look, just getting there. Whether that's Odubel, Mickey Moniak, Matt Vierling in center field, whether they trade for Frankie Montas or Jose Quintana. I hear there's quite a few Pirates that are available in trades right now. Outfield.
Go trade for O'Neal Cruz.
Who?
O'Neal Cruz.
I don't even know who that is.
They wouldn't trade him. It's their prospect they just called up. He's a 6'7" shortstop who throws
that
harder
guy,
than he throws harder than Max Scherzer and is faster than Tyreek Hill.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, he's an absurd athlete. He's insane. They wouldn't trade him. I was just messing around. But
Okay, I do remember that. I remember reading about the 6'7", shortstop. That's just a really tall shortstop. Period.
Yeah, he's tallest shortstop ever.
Tall baseball. I mean, outside of pitchers, you don't really see guys over 6'3", 6'4" in baseball.
Yeah.
Look, it's all about getting there, and I think that it all comes back to the whole point of this show is: would you trade Rhys Hoskins? And look, I say yes, I would trade Rhys Hoskins, but I guess to kind of sum this story up, is it even worth trading Rhys Hoskins for Frankie Montas right now or somebody? Because look, we're not trying to win. Are you going to try to give up? Like I said, you don't think O'Hoppe would be in. I do, but just for my argument's sake, is it worth trading O'Hoppe now for maybe to get to the second round of the playoffs or have a chance in the first round now, or do you save those trade chips and those trade assets for the offseason for next year when we know a little bit more about Mickey Moniak, we know a little bit more about Ranger Suarez or Sir Anthony Dominguez? Can he be a closer? Like, do you save those chips now for later, or do you go all in? You spent money to go all in.
You don't go all in this year. This is not the year to go all in because you still have a few pieces that have to kind of develop. Yeah. But what you need to do is set yourself up to go all in next year or the following year.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like the title of the show is yes, I would trade Rhys Hoskins and Tyrese Maxey. You trade Tyrese Maxey for Kevin Durant right now.
Because the Sixers,
you're all in.
They go all in. There's no debate on that. You trade Tyrese Maxey for Kevin Durant. Sixers need to go all in. The Phillies are still the Phillies need to set themselves up to go all in 2023 or 2024, maybe even 2025. Because I think the Phillies will be contenders in 2023 through, I wouldn't say contenders in 2023. They very well could be. But 2024 to 2026, I think are going to be the Phillies' prime years to win a title.
I hope we don't have to wait that long. I think we can tweak this team in this offseason to get us there by next year. Because you got to think, I mean, you're talking 2024. You're talking 2-3 years from now. 2-3 years from now, Zach Wheeler's how much older? Aaron Nola's how much older? Maybe by 2025, you got Painter or Abel, up there, in that rotation. But so you're just going to kind of trade those guys out. I don't know. There's one other theory that I want to address with the Rhys Hoskins, and it's the homegrown talent aspect of it. Everybody talks about the 08 Phillies and the 07. They had so many homegrown guys. Rhys Hoskins, how many guys on this team? Rhys Hoskins and Aaron Nola, are they basically the only two homegrown players that are major contributors at this point on the team?
I would say Alec Bohm.
Yeah, I mean, there's okay, he's contributing, but he's not hit his peak yet, or he's not shown what he's fully capable.
Like, I would say by the time the Phillies win a title, Alec Bohm, Bryson Stott would also have to be there.
Okay,
so they did trade for Segura.
Throwing that in there, would you trade like Bryson Stott? He's a shortstop. You can play him at second or third. You go get Trea Turner. Would you trade Bryson Stott?
No, Bryson Stott because you
gotta have some homegrown talent. Don't
exactly. You? Yes, because you're not gonna. Because the thing is, especially with that, you're not going to be able to bring back Segura and Turner are not both going to be on this team next year.
No. So Segura's not going to be on this team next year. I'm just going to say it right now. I would make a bet that Segura is not part of this team next year. Neither Didi and Segura are both.
Didi can go, and I'll drive him to wherever he wants to go.
I still feel Didi might get traded by the trade deadline. Whether it's for a middle reliever, whether it's for an A-, B+ prospect, a team will take Didi off our hands.
Yeah, do it. Get rid of him. 5. So hopefully the door doesn't hit him, or hopefully the door hits him as hard as possible.
You're not a Didi fan, are you?
No,
I mean, I'm not either, but
him and Odubel. I mean, I hope that whatever door Odubel's walking out of falls on top of him.
And look, Odubel, I mean, we didn't even really talk about last night's game. Kyle Schwarber, 2 more home runs.
Yeah,
Aaron Nola pitched really well last night.
Yeah.
And Carter mentioned it earlier in the show. Not just Odubel giving up those 2 runs. It should have been an error. But Nick Castellanos misplayed a ball in the outfield too that gave up the first run. So Aaron Nola was cruising, and the defense kind of blew last night. Yeah. But I wasn't even worried about getting super negative. Fans were banging the drum. I was not. I've never been an Odubel, or a Didi
No,
fan.
I wasn't.
Yeah. But there was a high percentage of people that wanted Didi back. There really was.
Is that Mark's burner account?
That's Mark's YouTube account.
Mark, no, that's his burner account.
I know his burner account. That is not his. Yeah.
Oh, I know his burner account too.
Yeah. It's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
He retweets everything he posts. He retweets from his burner account.
No, this is Mark's burner account.
I don't even want to designate him for assignment, because if you designate him for assignment, then he could end up in the minor league system still. Just cut him. Just throw him.
Really.
Look, the Phillies organization is doing a disservice to the locker room, to the fans, to every single to all of baseball by having him still on this team.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, and I just don't, he knows it.
Do not put him around the kids. Don't put him around the kids.
He's a bad influence.
Yeah, exactly. Do not DFA number 37. Cut him. Whatever penalty you have to pay, cut him. I don't care.
Still, the biggest confusing thing, they cut him. They bought him out after last season. They paid him the buyout so he would go away, and then paid him more to come back. So he's only making like $1.5 million, but he's really making $4 million this year. Just cut him. Just get rid of him. Just go. Bye.
And he should honestly never come within 100 feet, 1,000 feet of the city of Philadelphia, and that includes the expressway. Because that's my bad traffic, not his.
Look. There, I don't know if it's still there because it's been a while. I don't really go to Philly much. But when you're down on where's like Dave and Buster's? What's that street called there? In Philly, right along the waterfront there. You know what I'm talking about? Along the waterfront there. When you go down there by Clubber Skate to get on 95 to come back down towards my area, there used to be a big homeless thing under the underpass bridge there. Mm-hmm. Dude, just go pick them up and drop them off at the homeless shelter. That
you know what? I don't feel bad talking about him like this because he's a horrible person. He's a bad dude.
I mean, Cole. I mean, I don't know if you heard the show a couple weeks ago when there was a lot of rumors about bringing Kareem Hunt to the Eagles, and I was comparing Hunt and Odubel. I'm like, dude, the Phillies organization is kind of just whatever what he did, and the Eagles organization and the Eagles fans are the same fans that hate Odubel Herrera, but yet they were okay with bringing in potentially Kareem Hunt, who literally drop kicked a woman while she was on the ground. Dude, I don't want bad characters, bad people on any of my sports teams.
Well, yeah, and you can't DFA Odubel. You can't risk him going to the minors because there's kids. There's people my age there. I don't want him around them.
No.
He's a bad influence. He's a bad guy. Get him away. Don't ever let him come back. Lock the city up and keep him away.
I mean, I 120,000% agree with you. All right, so tonight, I guess tonight's a Bradley Falter start. Have they officially announced that? I'm on ESPN now. I'm trying to bring it up, but my computer is not really working.
See, Phil, if you had a smartphone, it'd be really easy.
I do, but I'm playing YouTube on my smartphone right now. So we get an extra view right now. Trying to help the algorithm for the show.
It's a Bailey Falter. It's
definitely a Bailey Falter. All right, so what would you like to see tonight? Because we can't lose 2 out of 3 to the Nationals. We need to win today. It's a 4 or 5, 3 o'clock game or something like that. 4 o'clock.
4:05.
4:05. Bailey Falter on the mound against Joan Adon. I'm going to click him and see who the hell Joan Adon is here. Right-hander.
He's not as good as Josiah Gray. He's horrible. He plays for the Nationals. His name isn't Juan Soto. He sucks. He's terrible. Not good.
So his last 5 starts, he has given up 4, 8, 3, 2, and 6 earned runs. All right. So he's going to give up a shut. He's going to shut us out tonight or something like that. What would you like to see tonight from the Phillies, from the team, the lineup, the pitching, to come out tonight, not just get the win the series, but make a statement?
If we lose to a guy with a 1-11 record, a 7 ERA, this team, you might as well let Harper get surgery.
Don't tune into tomorrow's morning show if we lose to this guy. That's all I'm going to say. It's me and Jason, and I'm going to be pissed off if we lose this guy.
Yeah, there is no way the Phillies lose tonight. I said Josiah Gray sucks. This guy is not good either. He is not good.
Josiah Gray,
no reason. Anyway,
but I want to see. I don't want to see Odubel out there. I need Rob Thompson to make a statement. If I'm writing the lineup tonight, I'm taking Nick Castellanos out of right field to make a statement. I'm putting him as a DH. I'm putting Vierling in right field. I'm putting Moniak in center field. I know that hurts your offense to an extent.
Where's Schwarber? Schwarber in right?
You still got JT. What's that?
Did you say you're putting who in right field? Schwarber?
Vierling.
Cole
Vierling
does
in right.
guarantee a win.
What's
Vierling in right, Schwarber in left. Yeah, I do guarantee a win.
Is that going to be one of your little bets on TikTok?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe
I'll have to.
It's like I sign into TikTok once a month, so I get like videos that are like 6 months old. You know what I mean? And I see you predicting basketball games. I'm like, dude, basketball's over, man.
Yeah. No, I get the same thing, bro. I saw a video from El Parcero the other day of like the Sixers against the Raptors. I'm like, bro, it's been like 3 months.
No, I want to see the Phillies make a statement. Odubel out of the lineup. You don't. I always talk about with all managers in all sports, you hold players accountable. Odubel needs to be held accountable. He needs to be out of the lineup. We're obviously not going to cut him today. We all want him to, but the Phillies aren't going to cut him. They're just not. It's stupid, but they're not. But Rob Thompson might not have the say on who's cut, but Rob Thompson has the say on who starts and plays. If I'm Rob Thompson, he's riding the pine. He's not even getting a pinch hit opportunity. He's sitting the pine. You put Moniak out there, you put Vierling. You're going to go Schwarber. You're going to go Rhys in the 2-hole, whether you put Castellanos in the 3-hole still or not. DH him. I don't care. But I'm making that kind of a lineup tonight because you got to make a statement. That kind of play in the outfield, that kind of boneheaded lack of focus will not be accepted. Yeah, we have a really, really tough schedule. We need this win. You got 4 more against the Cardinals. You got 2 against the Jays. The Miami Marlins are playing really good baseball right now. And they always beat us. So, need this win.
I would say for that to be a successful road trip, I would say the Phillies would need, 6 of the.
That's 9 games.
6 of the 9.
I mean, honestly, you're gonna have to. You're probably gonna split against the Cardinals and the Jays. So that's 3-3.
And you have to you have to win the series against the Jays.
I would say 5-4 would be a success for me, just because still. I mean, whether I like Eflin and Ranger Suarez or not, they're not even back. They're still on the IL. Now, if they come back, maybe. But look, I really think 5-4 is a success. I'd love to see 6-3, but I would call it a win to get 5-4 in that.
5-4. Oh, 5-4 would be you win the series. Wait, 5-4 would be you win the series. You either split or win the series.
You split the 2 series and you win the other series. Look.
Yeah. So 5-4.
5-4 is a win to me if we win today against the Nationals. We lose against the Nationals today, then we got to do better against those other 3 series. Yeah. So today's a key game. Are we all watching the NHL draft? Dude, there's an NHL draft? Sorry.
Flyers suck.
Hold on. Carter, you haven't seen it yet. I've never brought it up for you. But I got one overlay here. What's up with the Flyers? They suck. And then it comes right off the screen. That's all we do with the Flyers right there. Look, I didn't even know the NHL draft was tonight because
I knew, but I just didn't really care to. I don't think Kyle is watching it either. I think he's just messing with us.
It's like the baseball draft. No one watches it. Nobody knows any of these guys. The basketball draft, even the basketball draft to an extent, bores me anymore. The NBA draft has the dumbest rule in all of sports.
What?
When you get drafted, but you already know you've been traded, but you still got to put the drafted hat on.
Yeah.
The Phillies have traded this, or the Sixers trade this guy before the draft, but you still gotta pop that.
You have to trade your pick within 48 hours, or 24 hours of the draft, or something like that, or you didn't actually trade it, and then you can trade the rights to the pick.
It's the dumbest thing in sports.
There was a reason behind it. I forget it off the top of my head. I'll make sure I find out, and we'll talk about it next time.
Before your time, before you were born, it was announced Kobe Bryant traded to the Lakers, but the Charlotte Hornets drafted him. So he's sitting there rocking a Charlotte Hornets hat, holding up the Charlotte Hornets jersey, but he's already a Laker. And I remember the announcer, the side person at the interviews. How do you feel about? And he's like, dude, what are you asking me questions for here? It's dumb. So yeah, yeah. I mean, this is actually interesting. Half the players are stuck in Russia. Isn't a Flyers guy like in massive? Isn't like the Flyers prospect like in trouble in Russia or something like that?
Yeah, but he got lucky. Like there's this one of the guys on the Wild. Right when he heard the news about him, fled back to America.
Okay.
And now is like wanted in Russia.
Okay.
And I'm sure that we're not going to like send him over.
Yeah.
But
it's crazy. I mean, Yeah. I don't want to get political. No, we're going to wrap it up there. All right, so you got the Phillies winning. What's your final score prediction for tonight?
8-3. Schwarber hits a
8-3.
leadoff home run.
Schwarber with another home run tonight.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to say – I was going to say 8-3, so now I have to pick something different. I'm going to say 7-4, and Nick Castellanos goes deep tonight.
Ooh.
Because Nick Castellanos has actually been playing really well. Last night was a little blunder. We got Matt checking in with an 18-1 Phillies score. Yeah, that's actually it would be fun. Be fun. Castellanos has been hitting the ball a little bit better lately. Last night he just had a blunder. That double play he hit into in the 8th inning killed any chance of a Phillies comeback there. But I think he does it. Carter being the pain in the ass that he is, saying Nats win 9-6. You suck. We're going to wrap up Trending the AM right there. Another great 2 days with Cole joining me here on the show. Thank you, everybody, tuning in. Thank you, everybody, in the comment section. Make sure you like and hit the subscribe button there on YouTube, everybody, when you're watching this video. We'll be back tomorrow, Jason and I. We're going to keep talking Phillies. We're going to talk a little football. I got an interesting little fun football topic to discuss on tomorrow's show. Again, everybody have a great one, and let's ring the bell tonight, guys.